Love triangles can get pretty complicated sometimes, but have you ever heard of a love square? Well, that's sort of what was going on between these two girls and two guys. You see, Hana was in love with Mr. Kanai, her older brother figure who had known her since they were little. But Mr. Kanai had his eyes on another woman, Miss Minagawa. Miss Minagawa also had a little brother who was in love with her. But here's where it starts to get juicy. That little brother of Miss Minagawa wanted love so bad that he decided to rizz up Hana and use her as a replacement until he found a way to get Miss Minagawa to love him. Hana felt the same way too, so she agreed to date him as a replacement for Mr. Kanai. Hana had always had feelings for Mr. Kanai, but when she heard he would be teaching in her class, she was over the moon with excitement. After class one day, she ran to the teacher's lounge to deliver some stuff to him, but that was when she saw it. Mr. Kanai was flirting with one of the female teachers. Hana's heart sank. From that day, she would always rage out in her mind every time she thought of that woman. To her, the woman was giving middle-aged skank. I mean, Hana had always done everything with Mr. Kanai. When she was little, she even did a 3-legged race with him, even though it was supposed to be between her and her parent. The other kids pointed at her and told her she was doing too much. But Hana dissed the girl who came at her the most, and everyone's attention pointed to her. Hana ran away to a corner to be alone, but Mr. Kanai met with her and suggested they eat lunch together. So yeah, Hana had every reason to be pissed at Miss Minagawa. One day at school, Hana bumped into Minagawa. She was too stunned and irritated to properly react or say anything, but another student came up and helped Minagawa up like some alpha male type dude. Hana was wondering who the heck this guy is, but as soon as she saw his eyes, she knew he was in the same situation as him. His name was Mugi. He loved someone he shouldn't, and they didn't reciprocate. That someone was Minagawa. They went to the top of the school to survey their respective love interests as they made googly eyes at each other. As Hana and Mugi kept spending time with each other, they got closer naturally. One day, they were hanging out at Mugi's house while it rained. Mugi, being the alpha that he was, turned his back to Hana and started playing games. But just turning his back wasn't enough to stop his aura from coming out of his body, because all of a sudden, Hana clinged onto him a little too intimately. Mugi didn't lose his composure in the slightest. In fact, he pulled her to the bed ASAP and started making craters on her neck. Hana wasn't really feeling like doing anything, but as soon as Mugi told her to imagine he was Kanai, she got super into it and they had their first kiss. Well, first for Hana. Mugi is well experienced, as expected from someone who has his Riz stats maxed. Their little session was interrupted by a message on Hana's phone. It was from Kanai, and seeing it just made her more upset. Mugi, being as upfront as ever, asked her if she wanted to continue doing stuff like this together. Hana took a day, but she eventually agreed. So, they both made a pact that they could have everything about each other except their feelings, and if one of them made it with the one they really loved, the relationship would end. And with that, the story of their scummy wishes began. It was the end of another school day. Hana went to Mugi's class to walk home with him, but Mugi was no simp. He told her that he had duties to attend to. His classmates, however, told him they got him covered for the day, and he should go. So Mugi got his stuff and went to meet Hana. When he got outside, he saw Hana talking to a girl who Hana called Akan. Akan wanted to walk home with Hana instead, but when she saw Mugi, she told Hana to go ahead with him. Hana obviously did. As they walked home, Hana asked for Mugi's water, and after she took a sip, Mugi went into light skin mode and pulled her in for a kiss. But one random girl yelled at them not to from behind. What kind of rude rat does that? Well, turns out the rude rat has a name, but it's too long to remember, so everyone just calls her Mocha. Hana remembered her as the girl who tried to turn everyone against her when she ran with Kanai all those years ago. So, after Mugi told Mocha that he was with Hana, Hana grabbed Mocha by the collar and basically told her to stay away from her man. The next day on the rooftop, Mugi told Hana that she was a bit too harsh on Mocha yesterday, but Hana told him he should reject her already and stop leading her on. Mugi just changed the subject and asked if she was jealous, but Hana was apparently just possessive. She wondered, though, if that was just it. Another day came, and Mocha was yet again clinging to Mugi. Hana was trying to have a lunch date with him, but Mocha kept interrupting. So, Hana chased her off and finally had some alone time with Mugi. Girls slowly started to hear news of Hana dating Mugi, and one of them decided to ask Hana for advice on something. The girl told Hana about her situation. She was in a love triangle and didn't know which guy to pick. Hana told her to go with her heart, but the girl just wanted to pick the guy with more to offer. Hana was so confused. Is this how girls really think? Hana was out having lunch with Akan later and asked Akan if she too liked guys just because of what they offered. But Akan said that she liked them because of how they made her feel, and Hana was so glad that her friend wasn't a heartless person. Hana then asked Akan if she liked anyone, and Akan coughed up her food a little. Seeing that reaction made Hana know that she did, so she invited Akan to her house for a sleepover. Akan didn't show it much, but she was super excited. She got there early the next day and everything was going smoothly. But as soon as she shut the door, everything went wrong. One thing led to another, and Echan was on top of Hana and lipsing her. Hana was so confused as to what in the good Lord's name was going on. Echan first met Hana when she was going to write the entrance exam for high school. Echan was getting some unwanted action from a stranger on the bus, and Hana came to her rescue. Hana held her hand till they got to the school, and just from that experience, Echan fell in love with Hana. Now, at the sleepover, Echan was just trying to play it cool and enjoy spending time with Hana alone. At night, she had to share a small bed with Hana, and it was taking a lot for her to keep her composure. She was doing relatively well until Hana turned to face her and asked what kind of person she liked. Echan couldn't hold herself back anymore and kissed Hana. Echan went on top and stared at Hana. She asked Hana why she was with Mugi when she didn't even like him. So, Hana told her the situation. That just made things awkward, and up until morning, Echan just stayed in silence and left afterwards. When the morning came, Hana went out on an errand for her mother. She bumped into Mocha on the way, but completely ignored her. Hana thought back to what she said to Echan about those girls who liked guys for what they offered. She said that if you keep trying to choose both, you'll lose both. And she now realized that she was doing the same thing. Meanwhile, Mugi was fast asleep and dreaming about his middle school affair. It was with this one girl who everybody was trying to get with, and he was the only one who managed to rizz her up and succeed. You could say he ruffled around and found out. The affair didn't last long though. He went on to high school and she didn't. Now he was back in the real world. He woke up all bricked up, and Hana was waiting patiently beside his bed. He quickly covered himself, but Hana jumped into bed with him. In a desperate attempt for her not to see him bricked up, he pulled her to his chest so she wouldn't look down. But his efforts were futile. He couldn't hide something that hard forever. As soon as Hana noticed, she spoke up. At that point, Mugi realized the cat was out of the bag, so he told Hana to calm the brick down. Hana went ahead, but she didn't know the proper technique. After a few instructions from Mugi, Hana started getting it, and he ascended to Cloud 9. After a few hours, they were both resting, and Hana asked him why he hadn't come out of the covers the whole time. Probably because his brick cooled down all over her dress and he was embarrassed. Hana went to play with him a little, but she started crying after a while. She told Mugi that she wanted to try to love him, and Mugi smiled. They both went to get something to eat, and as they were talking, Minagawa came walking down with a guy. Hana and Mugi noticed, but didn't say anything to her. Minagawa also didn't want to mince words, so she left quickly after the gut kept getting handsy with her. But before she left, she told Hana to keep it a secret. The next day at school, Mugi told Hana that he knew the guy Minagawa was with, and it was probably nothing. But Hana could see through his denial. She knew it wasn't just platonic. So, she went to confront Minagawa herself and asked if she was dating the guy, but the bell rang before she could give any solid answers. So, Minagawa ran off and told Hana they would talk after school was out. Minagawa, ever since she was little, has always loved attention. She would exploit others not just for the fun of it, but also because she'd rather die than let someone else exploit her. And this habit of hers followed her to this day. She looked for the attention of men any way she could, and once she was over the man, she just dipped and moved on to the next. So, she was basically a very big farming tool, particularly one used to till the ground. And now, she had her edges sunk into poor Kanai. He's being used just for his attention. She had also set some kind of plan in motion for Hana. I wonder what it could be. After school was out, Kanai was waiting in the music room, just like Minagawa had told him to earlier, before Hana arrived. Kanai wasn't one for overly big shows of emotions. He was always very subtle when it came to feelings of any kind, but from the first day he set eyes on Minagawa, he felt like it had to be fate that brought him to her. He got close to her any chance he got, but he wasn't able to put himself out there and tell her how he felt. So, when Minagawa came to the music room, he finally blurted out how he felt, and Hana was right there to hear everything. She ran to another room in the school to be alone, but she couldn't even cry. She realized she didn't make any effort in the first place, so she had no right to cry. She went to Mugi's place to try and be consoled by him, but she decided not to burden him just for her own sake. She went for a walk instead, but was called back by Echan. She had been following Hana this whole time. Hana ran to her and gave her a hug. She apologized for not figuring out that she felt that way. But Ekin told her it was okay and embraced her as well. They both went back to Ekin's house and it started raining. Under the sound of the rain, Ekin took advantage of Hana. She knew Hana couldn't say no to her advances because she cared for her. So, she took advantage of it and did all the things she had been wanting to do to her. Hana could sense that with every touch, it was from someone who cared about her. Hana wanted to tell Ekan that she should stop, but since she couldn't, Ekan just kept going and told Hana that if there was any way she wanted to take advantage of her as well, she should not hesitate to speak up. After the passion subsided, Hana walked back to her house alone in the rain. She could hear voices of her younger self saying that she had ruined her friendship with Ekan for good. Hana already realized this. So, she decided that since Minagawa was playing dirty, she too would step up and try to beat her at her own game. The next day, she went to confront Minagawa about the whole situation. But of course, she was smug the whole time, saying that she didn't even like either of them. Hana asked her why she took pleasure in seeing men chase after her even when she didn't feel the same. And Minagawa replied that there's no better feeling than that. Yeah, she's a really big farming tool. Mugi was lying in bed after going out to get something, and he was talking to himself. Turns out he knew all along just how much of a big farming tool Minagawa was, yet he still kept wanting to be with her. He didn't tell Hana because he thought she wouldn't understand. He thought back to when he first found out Minagawa was a farming tool. It was during the period when he was still dating his crush from middle school. The crush told him, but he didn't want to believe it. So she took him out to see for himself, and when he did, he cried himself to sleep that night. Ever since that day, he saw her as this hopeless, fragile little girl who couldn't do without a man. But he admitted that after a while, he fell back into her trap and was fawning over her again. He started to feel lonely again, thinking about all this. So he called up his ex for some comfort. When she came, she didn't waste any time. She asked to go straight to a motel, and when they finished getting jiggy, she left without even spending the night. Damn, that's cold. The next day, Mugi started acting cold, and Hana noticed it immediately. She thought it was just one of those days when they didn't feel that close and brushed it off. She didn't even tell him about the recent happenings that went down with her. She wondered why, and her conclusion was that she was probably fine with Akan and didn't need Mugi anymore. But even as she said that, she embraced Mugi and kissed him passionately. She said to him that she knew he slept with someone, and he said he knew she did too. Hana had tears roll down her eyes. She knew that it was painful to keep going on with the farce. Yet, it felt so good that she couldn't control herself, and Mugi felt the same about it too. They both found an empty room after school and started making out in it. Midway through, Mugi mentioned that she hadn't come to visit him in a while. She didn't have an excuse, so she just stared at him, and that set off something in Mugi, seeing her embarrassed and shy, but still looking directly at him. Eventually, they went back to his house and straight into his bed. Hana told Mugi that she wants to go all the way to Jiggy Town this time around, but Mugi had his reservations. Eventually, he figured he might as well. But let's just say, he was too big to ride the roller coaster. Hana curled up next to him and asked him why they couldn't do it. Mugi told her it's because they don't love each other. Hana tried convincing him again, but he said no. So she wore her clothes and went back home. Side note, don't these guys have family? How are they able to just go for booty calls at any time they like? Anyway, when Hana got back to her house, she was sad that she was alone. She hated being alone. The next day, Hana wondered when she became so weak to the point of needing to sleep beside someone at night. She saw Minagawa up ahead and just planned to walk by her. But Minagawa, as she passed by Hana, whispered that she went all the way to Jiggy Town with Kanai last night. Hana was devastated. Hana was sick and tired of losing to Minagawa. She wanted the feelings that she got from other guys all for herself, even if it meant hurting someone. She decided she'd rather use someone and have those feelings than be lonely. The younger voice in her head said she was just acting like a kid, but she didn't care. So, after school, she went to meet with Mugi and agreed to be his girlfriend for real. Then she went to meet Ekan and told her. She decided she wasn't going to use Ekan like that. But really, Ekan was probably the only one who wanted to be used. Hana couldn't take it and just ran off. The next day, Hana had a headache from not getting any sleep last night. So she went to the library with one of her classmates for some quiet. While she was there, Akan came in and joined them. But Akan wasn't there to read books. She came to have some fun with Hana. While everyone else was reading, Akan caressed Hana a little bit too much, but Hana didn't say anything. She decided to be quiet about it as punishment for all the stuff she put Akan through.